Welcome.
Hi, welcome.
This is Stay F HOMEKINS.
It is your after dinner podcast.
I am Paul F. Tompkins.
I am Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I am a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple living in Los Angeles, and this, as my wife said, is our after dinner podcast. And we hope that it's yours too.
Yes, come on, get into the spirit. We poured a little glass of weekend water.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we sit and we just have a little conversation. We come out typically the second Friday of every month, but Paul, you're touring your variety show.
I was touring this great nation of ours, and so we had to postpone our recording until we were reunited, and it felt so good.
And it does. And so thank you for bearing with us. This is our May episode.
That's right.
It's so good to have you back in town.
Well, that is a wonderful sentiment, and I appreciate that.
Okay, so we started this conversation right before the podcast began, and I said, hold the phone. Let's not have that conversation not on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation on the podcast.
And that's exactly how it went down, and this is where we are now.
And I said, hold the phone. So what happened was this. So we were having our dinner. Full disclosure, tonight we did not cook. We ordered a pizza.
Yeah, man, it's Friday night.
It was a thing we had to order the pizza.
The weekend.
Yeah.
We can order a pizza. Don't crucify us
Like
over
stuff
this
was
thing.
happening, and it was like the kind of thing where like we had to do it.
Yeah.
So we're just chilling, and we were talking about The Studio, which is this show on Apple TV that we have been watching. And
Seth Rogen et al.
I'm a big Seth Rogen fan.
It's true, you are.
So I tuned in.
He really delights you, which I find delightful.
I love when he does physical comedy. I don't know. There's strange noises coming from our television, which is not on. It's kind of scaring me.
Sometimes the TV does make a sort of staticky noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's unsettling.
It is, well.
Don't you think it's not on? Why is it making that noise?
It's relaxing. It's settling. It's taking a load off.
Mm-mm.
It's the TV sighing.
Well, it's
been on for hours in our house.
because we were doing work with the screens on. All right, so this, not to spoil anything if you're watching this show, but there was a storyline in it where they're taking mushrooms. Mm-hmm. And then, so I was telling Paul, I was oh, I'm sure you saw this viral story that was going around online that was a Reddit story. And I was I don't know if it's true or not. And so he was no, I don't know what you're talking about. So basically there was this story where this woman was writing in to Reddit, and she was describing her husband who is not inclined in the kitchen at all. Never cooked, doesn't know how to cook. So much so they make fun of him and her family. And he decided to go on this mushroom trip, which she describes he's taking a hero's dose of mushrooms, which I've never heard that terminology before. Yeah. But apparently, I guess I gleaned from it. It was from the comments and stuff, there's a certain threshold that's I guess an ego death or something. I don't know. I'm just making this up. But anyway, he takes this huge amount of mushrooms. He comes out of the mushrooms. And he tells her, I had this vision, and I know for a fact that I was an Italian chef, a successful Italian chef in a previous life. And she was okay, yeah, whatever, bro. And then, within a couple of days, he starts making her family and her, from muscle memory, this outstanding pasta sauce that everyone is this is hands down the best pasta sauce I've ever had in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And to which you said to me, that's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That's what you said. You said that
did not happen.
That didn't happen.
I ran into this recently because on Freedom, my podcast with Scott Ackerman and Lauren Lapkus, we were reading the Am I the Asshole section of Reddit, which I've only ever experienced before from other people posting it.
Same.
Right?
Same. People love to post the threads and like
Yes.
have people chat in social media areas.
Yeah. And so the ones that I saw posted, I always took as real. They seemed real.
Okay.
And then when you read a bunch of them,
Yes.
you see like, oh, well, this is just made up. People are
Yes.
just making shit up left and right.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And,
Okay.
you know, there was this one about this woman who her sister ruined Thanksgiving dinner because she insists on cooking and her cooking is terrible and
Okay.
blah, 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 blah. But it's like, it's a long story.
Okay.
And so as it goes on, you're like, oh yeah, none of this happened because there's so many holes in it. There's so many holes in it. And it's like, yeah, nobody would put up with this. Nobody would let this person get away with this year after year after year.
So you think people are just kind of using that forum as sort of a fictional, like a fan fiction outlet?
Scott said it was like a writing exercise,
Okay.
you know, and they want to see how many likes they can get and whatever, you know.
It does like spark like conversation because people in the threads are like, I would never stand for that or da da da.
I mean, it sparks conversation. The best conversation it sparks is when there actually is some kind of discussion to be had, as opposed to, well, here's what I would do for my sister if she insisted on putting glitter in food. She didn't know. That didn't happen. So it's like, it doesn't matter what you would do because this never occurred.
But I will say this. So I do see a lot of like, am I the assholes? And it then goes on to like describe some kind of abusive domestic situation. And I'm like, this might be real because like they don't have like someone doesn't know like where to turn. And there's anonymity.
Anonymity. And see an enemy.
See anemone. Ba-do-ba-do-ba-boo-do-do-do. Okay. Then I was thinking, close the beaches. I don't know. Amity. I'm free associating.
You're free associating.
I'm free associating.
Yeah, it does seem like the sadder ones are more believable.
Or where people are like, I feel like desperation, like I don't want to live, or you know, and people are like, oh, like please call someone, you know. Well, you can't like take those as fake because if someone really is suffering like that, you don't want to be the one saying you're full of shit.
Well, no, and you don't. I mean, there's no need to like call people out on any of them. Really, it's like I hope you had fun. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about a section of the internet called Am I the Asshole, not like journalism, you know. So it's fine. If you made that up and had a good time, I'm happy for you. We all got to get our joys where we can.
I am reading and I'm almost finished with this book that Catherine told me to read, Rejection by Tony Telematute. I think I'm messing up his name.
What is the book about?
It's like this sort of meta string of stories about these characters that are loosely connected to one another in some way. You kind of find out that all sort of...
It sounds like that movie I starred in called Magnolia.
Actually, it is sort of it is kind of Magnolia in that regard. But it deals with our lives online, like our disaffected sort of existence alongside the internet. And it, at first I was like, why is Catherine having me read this? Because at first I was like, I'm really grossed out by one of the stories. Because there's like some like upsetting details about some of these people. Because like you know, but then she's like, what? It's so funny. And I was like, oh, it's meant to be funny. And then it changed how I went like back into it.
Yeah.
I think you should read it, actually. I think you would be the one, like you're a good audience for this book.
I'm kind of looking for something to read because the last 2 books that I've read, I bailed on one because it just kept going on. Like I was really interested for a while. And then the second half of it took this hard turn into a different character's perspective.
Okay.
And I was just like, wait, you didn't wrap up the story that I was invested in. And now this is going on for a really long time.
I bet, though, it comes back later.
It might, but I couldn't stick around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I had been reading this book for it was a long book. And I didn't realize how long it was. And then I started reading this other book, which is not...
you were reading on Kindle? That happens to me. Like I'm reading, because I read on e-reader, Kindle, whatever you have you.
Yeah.
I love an e-reader, guys.
I think but if you read on an e-reader, you should
don't
always
know where you are. Had the percentage.
Look at do a Google image search for the book you're reading,
or like
so you can see physically how much.
Have the percentage open, or have the percentage.
Yes, that's the more practical way to do it.
Or the one where it's like you have 3 hours left in this book, or you have.
Oh, you don't know me.
No, I know. Same. I'm like, really? People sit down and read this in 4 hours? Yeah. It's going to take me a week.
So the book I'm reading now is okay. It's not bad, but I'm not as eager to dive back into it day after day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I need something that is really going to.
Well, I'll just tell you this one detail about rejection because it gets super meta. Then I don't want to like.
Oh, you finished it.
I'm almost at the end.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm in the final, the final gasp. But there is a character. I can't I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but there is a character in the book that it goes to college, and in the group home that she's living in, or they go around and they like maybe say their pronouns and a little bit about themselves and everything, and this person refuses to give says that they don't identify by any pronouns at all, like doesn't want to be like identified by their heritage, their gender, and is like causing everyone like total insane like strife and everything, and like alienating everyone. And then every like argument they give about why they need some way to refer to her as a person or whatever, she turns around and is like, that's the very reason why I don't want to be like identifying, and it like goes like on and on and on. And it is so absurdly, it is quite funny. I'm not, like, the book is like, it is very satirical.
Yeah.
Satirical.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
That's like what happened with us with the movie Force Majeure, where we didn't realize it was a comedy.
Yes. Yes. I actually enjoyed it more not knowing.
I enjoyed it just as much, I think. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I was like, I don't know the ethical question that movie poses. Mm-hmm. Like, it was so insane.
Was that the same director that did Triangle of Sadness? And who did Triangle of Sadness? That director did what else? What was the movie before Triangle of Sadness? Oh wait, no, hold on.
No, it's not the same director. I don't think. Oh, are you doing a search? I got a search. Well, okay, so this is what I want to ask you though, because we were talking about that Reddit story or whatever, and like fiction and what it means to be on the internet. I feel like the internet is kind of garbage. Yeah. It's like there is no real. Nothing's real. Like AI is now the thing, right? AI is taking over or whatever. Yeah. So, but my question is about the real world and about real existence, which is, do you believe in like in a previous life I was blah, blah, blah?
He did do Force Majeure.
Oh, wait, he did?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Previous lives. That's my question to you. Because you were looking that up and I said it while you're...
Previous lives?
I'm going to say it again. My question...
I'm going to say it again. Previous lives.
My question to you is...
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the internet. It's about real life and human existence.
Okay. I like that.
Do you believe when people are like, in a previous life, I was blah, 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 or maybe I was blah, blah, blah?
I don't. I mean, I don't.
What is
I don't
is deja vu to you? What is generational trauma to you? What is like passing down genetically pieces of trauma?
Well,
through
generational trauma makes sense to me because it affects your body. You know what I mean?
But it's a DNA. It's like it's like stored in your DNA or whatever.
Yeah. That's
so
what I mean.
Isn't that like a previous, like in a previous life?
No, I don't think that. I if there's any kind of thing akin to a past life, I don't believe personally that our consciousness, our soul, whatever you want to call it, travels through history from body to body.
Okay.
I don't buy that.
Okay.
I don't get why that would happen. You know, like there's obviously what happens after we die is a mystery, and everybody has their theories. And I know that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, whatever. So what happens to that energy that was a person? But I don't think we'd be aware of it. I don't think that you could say like, I don't know. I mean, look, ultimately our brains are such a crazy mystery. Like there's a lot that we have learned about them, but there's a lot of things I think that we don't know. And, like deja vu to me feels very scientifically explainable, even though I don't know what the scientific explanation is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a supernatural or extra natural or spiritual thing. I think it's like a weird thing that your brain does, you know?
I feel like I have explained that to myself when I've had deja vu, but sometimes the sensation is so overpowering.
Yeah, it's wild when it happens.
That it's hard to not like be like, well, that's an unexplainable. That's something.
Here's what's wild to me is that you feel it and then you can feel it go away. You know?
Right. Like
you have the feeling like, no, I'm still having it.
You're reaching for more.
Yeah. I'm still having it. It's still happening. And then it's like, now it's gone. I'm not feeling that way anymore.
What about when people are dying on their deathbed and they say the names of dead people in their lives?
I'm not familiar with this.
That is a phenomenon. I mean,
they say the names of dead people in their lives.
Yes. Like, okay, my grandfather's dead. If I'm on my deathbed and I'm like in and out of this realm and the next realm, I would easily say grandpa.
Right. As if, and the idea is like, are they seeing this person?
Yes.
Right. I mean, I again, I think that's the brain.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
But then why is it always someone who's dead
because
that
you're
they
dying.
See?
Because you're dying, and we're making these associations. You know.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, to me that feels very easy to understand why, if you have a sense that you are on the brink of death, that the people who are dead that are in your memory are going to come to mind. You also may be thinking, like the people that are on their deathbed may be thinking, I am going into a white light. I am seeing, these people that go before me. Blah, blah, blah. But that's, we can hallucinate. We can hear things and think there's something else. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of ways that we we trick ourselves.
Yeah.
But look, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? That's what I think, but I can't say that I'm right because I don't know. But that's what it sounds like to me.
That's just like your belief system. That's where you are today.
Yeah.
Like I'm asking you now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to have a near-death experience in the next 2 years or something,
Right.
where you come back from the brink,
Mm-hmm. Flatliners.
Yeah, Flatliners. Wait, that one might be a good watch-along movie.
I've never seen it, I don't think. Or
What?
did I? Maybe I did a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't Julia Roberts in it?
Yeah. Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland. Some other Brat Packers, maybe. Maybe there's a Judd Nelson or an Andrew McCarthy in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, we gotta look for that one. We should do a watch along to that one. That one would be good.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a watch along coming out in a few days, guys. I'm not gonna announce what it is. I'm just gonna let it be a surprise when it drops. It's a very good one in my personal opinion.
I agree.
But if Flatliners exists out there,
do you believe Flatliners exists out there?
I believe that sometimes I think of movies and then I go to try to find them on streamers and I can't fucking find them.
Yeah, that's spooky.
No, it's not spooky. It's like, it's the shitification of the world we live in now.
Because they take things away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have all these fucking crypto farms destroying the earth, but we can't have Flatliners on a streamer.
A commercial, an ad-free version of... You know what's going to be so stupid is there will be some business model that will be like the Netflix of the early aughts, where you can get any movie you can think of sent to you.
Maybe. If they don't like destroy everything.
Things don't get destroyed. People still, some people somewhere have to have them. You don't think Netflix kept all the DVDs somewhere?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't. No. First of all, those DVDs were all fucked up. Do you remember we were watching? We had just moved in together. We were watching Friday Night Lights on Netflix via the DVDs, and some of them were so scratched up. We would have to keep taking it out and like rubbing it on our shirts,
blowing on it,
blowing
inside the DVD player.
Yes.
Like getting any dust out.
So we could watch like another 10 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, what were we talking about? You were before Flatliners. If I have a near-death experience and I come out of it,
you might have a different worldview.
I absolutely allow for that possibility. Who knows? You know?
I feel like I've seen stories or anecdotal evidence or whatever of people who come back from a near-death experience with a completely different like strategy on how to live the rest of their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make you jealous? I mean, I don't want to have a near-death experience because I think it's scary, but
it doesn't make me jealous because I think it also depends on who those people were and how they were living their lives. And right now, as many times as I can get down on myself for this or that or whatever, I don't think I'm wasting my life, and I think I'm living it in a very enjoyable way. You know?
Yeah.
I like what I do. I like the person that I'm with.
Oh,
I like
me.
my friends.
That's me.
That's you.
You like me? You just like
You don't
me?
want me to like you?
Just like though. Come on, see.
I'm very fond of you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there's things I probably, knowing what I know now, would have done differently when I was younger, maybe.
Like
you know
what?
I mean? Well, my number one is
relationships.
My number one is I never would have started smoking.
Oh yeah.
I never would have smoked. I wouldn't have bothered with it.
Yeah.
But other things are like, I think I would have been I wish I had gone to like therapy earlier. I wish I'd gotten to know myself better earlier.
How possible is that? Part of it is just human trajectory. Like,
well,
you go through
exactly.
You go through puberty at whatever age, 11 to
That's why
13,
there's
right?
it's no good to ruminate on it or obsess over it, because it's like you get there when you get there, you know. And I did not have the tools, and it took me a while to acquire them. So what are you going to do?
But sometimes acquiring them is that like gross time.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I look back and I'm like, yeah, I had some relationships that were pretty like hard to justify at this point. Like it's like, okay, I learned, to see red flags about such and such earlier or whatever, but it's like, how many times was I somebody's like off the clock therapist, just on demand and like never,
Mm-hmm.
like I look back at that and I'm like, I get mad at myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why was I fighting so hard for some friendships that were so like, I don't know, draining.
Mm-hmm. They
cause like suffering.
Yeah.
Like literal suffering, like where I leave the interaction with just confusion and bewilderment and hurt and, not feeling seen or cared for.
Mm-hmm.
And yet couldn't wait to hang out with a person like that again. Like, I don't know.
I know, because some people can be really charming, and it takes you a while before you say, you know what, I can't overlook the bad aspects of this just because there's fun to be had, and this person knows when to say the right things,
But that's embarrassing because like that's your ego. You're allowing your ego to be like manipulated.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've been in that situation too, and it's like the people that do that are very good at it is the thing. It's not like you're dumb. It's that they're very skilled at this exact thing. But what's interesting is they can't keep it up forever with the same people.
Yeah.
And that's why they move on to different people.
Yeah, I started this podcast called Ex Friends. It's like Dana Gould's wife, Kat Gould.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
I've not listened yet.
I was sort of intrigued because I never heard anyone talk frankly about that kind of an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just openly.
Which I think most of us have had friend breakups and,
Well, I think when you say most of us, I bet everyone has.
Well, I guess
you don't
the
think
reason
it's
I
just
say
like
most
par
of us
for
is
the
because
course?
there's somebody out there who's going to be like, that's never happened to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to say most of us.
Yeah.
Because there might be people that we know, people in our circle that have not had that experience.
I don't know. I mean, human relationships are fucking hard and complicated.
They truly are.
And yeah, I don't know why I started talking about that. Why did I start talking about that? About our
We're
younger
talking about,
selves and like regrets.
Yeah.
Like going back in time and shaking your younger self to say, hey, this is a bad road to go down.
Yeah.
Don't go down that one. Go down this other one.
Truly, the only thing I wish that I could have known before was to let go of bad situations sooner, or a situation that was not going to happen. Like, because I would be hung up on these girls and, I would be waiting for us to get back together until I met somebody new. And it's like, I wish I could have been okay with myself earlier and not been looking for a relationship to make me feel like I was a valid human being, which is what I was doing. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing.
Have you ever had the experience I think I brought this up on a previous podcast because it was a term I'd been reading a lot, like in Psychology Today and hearing here and there, of being in limerence with someone.
We talked about this a while ago.
We did.
And
because you were like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, no, it's a thing.
And now I can't remember what it means. So you have to tell me again. I'm sorry.
I do, because I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to define this thing that I know what it is.
Well, it's got to be related to liminal, right?
Yeah, it's like...
So it's like an in-between kind of space?
It's like...
Am I using that correctly?
Kind of like being in love with someone who's not in love with you back or something.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But like being convinced that on your side of things that there is this like spark that is undeniable.
Exactly.
Am I doing it right? You're looking it up and
yeah,
am I saying it right?
A state of being infatuated or obsessed with another person, typically characterized by a strong desire for reciprocation of one's feelings, but not primarily for a sexual relationship.
Okay, I had that experience once,
Mm-hmm.
which when I look back on it now,
Mm-hmm.
is so mystifying to me
Mm-hmm.
that I had that experience, because I don't think of myself as someone prone to being in limerence
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but for whatever reason, this happened to me with someone that is like, it's a very, like, if I told you who it was, which I'm not going to on this on the podcast,
Right.
like you would probably laugh really hard if I told you who it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think
It was Dr. Jill Biden.
It was someone I was having like this flirtation with at a certain moment in my young adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
where I think I might have been experiencing some unresolved PTSD or like grief or something in my but I wasn't aware of it. Like I thought I was fine because I was so functional. Like I was so like however many jobs and like paying the bill, you know, like taking care of myself, like big time. And yet I became like, for like, I don't know, 6 months or something in this state of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really painful.
Mm-hmm.
It was really painful because also I had a friend who was kind of like, you're not being yourself. Like, why do you care? And like, I got very mad at that.
Wow.
Like to the point where like, I was like, it eroded my trust in her for like a while.
Wow.
Because I was like, can't she see? Like, this is like, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, oh, she's jealous. She wants me to herself or something,
Right.
you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I look back on it now, like the age I am now, and I'm like, oh, I was having like this weird experience
Mm-hmm.
that was not, and I can't say for certain that won't happen to me again before I die. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, you can't say for certain, but odds are it probably won't, because you're older and wiser. You've had the experience already. So you're able to identify it faster now.
but I don't understand why it happened. Like, here's the thing. Yes, I'm telling you, I was having like a hard time as a young adult for whatever reason, but I have also since gone through grief, you know, like however many times since then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, was there something sort of chemical going on?
Are we talking pheromones here?
Maybe. I don't know. But you've had the experience. You make it sound like you've had the experience a million times.
Oh, well, when I was younger,
I had it like once.
Yeah. I would get hung up on these girls, and then sometimes it was like in high school, it would be like like 8th grade, beginning of high school, it would be like a girl that I never had a relationship with. Then it would be girls that I dated for a little bit, and I was way into it, and then they were not into it anymore. And I could not let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I was like, no, I love you. We're going to be together forever.
No, yeah, I've been on the other side of that a million times.
Like
when
dumb romantic comedy shit.
When I was
where
younger,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, they're going to come around and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started going to therapy that I had my first, what I would consider emotionally intelligent relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was an overlap of therapy where there was somebody that I had a crush on. We fooled around a little bit and I thought, oh, we're going to be a couple. And then we were not going to be a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this is going to happen. So it's still like old ways. But I got over it so much faster than I ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next actual relationship after that, even though it did not last long, was a much more emotionally
balanced,
adult, a mature relationship than I'd ever had before. And I was like, wow, I've learned something. I have I've matured.
Evolved.
I've grown. I've evolved. Yeah. I see now what this is like, how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's supposed to feel. It's like you like this person and then, you get to know each other and everything.
Right. You build like a foundation and a semblance of trust.
And then this one didn't work out. And I was like, that's okay. And then I was alone for a while. And then
we became in love. And then we dated and then we got engaged and now we're married.
That's correct.
And then we started a podcast.
Yeah. And here we are. So you're all caught up, listeners.
Wow. Well, let's take a break and then we'll.
That was all to get you up to speed on where we come from and who we are.
I'm fond of you as well. Wink. Oh, wink. Wink. All right. After the break, we have no sponsors.
So that break's going to be real quick.
It's going to be real quick. We'll chat about some more stuff. And we're back.
Cuckoo went off during the break. Waited until the break. Shy all of a sudden.
Cuckoo, what are you, crazy?
You may hear Cuckoo before the end. Let's talk about the movie Sinners.
Okay.
Which I saw while I was on tour.
Yes.
Me and the rest of the people from the tour went as a family.
Yes. I went and saw it with some of my girlfriends.
Oh, I also had to talk about this because I didn't tell you about this. It's not like a big story, but it is a weird thing.
Okay.
So before Sinners, we went to an Italian restaurant.
Bottle of red, bottle of white.
That's right. Brenda and Eddie were there. And this was a place called The Woods. And this was in Lakewood, Ohio.
Okay.
And this restaurant was near the movie theater. That's why we went there. And
because it is the movie theater night. Okay.
Yeah. And afterwards, when we told people that we went there, people in the area said, "Why'd you go there?" Which is never great.
Uh-huh.
And it was perfectly fine. It was Italian food. It was not remarkable. It was fine. But here's the thing. 2 of us ordered spaghetti.
Okay.
And accompanying the spaghetti.
Okay.
Was a whole hard-boiled egg.
What?
That was just tucked in on the side.
Like peeled or not peeled?
Peeled.
Okay.
Have you ever encountered this in your life?
Tucked in on the side?
Like under the...
Uncut.
Uncut.
You're saying whole as in it
whole hard-boiled egg. So plate of spaghetti and then sort of tucked in on the side, half under the spaghetti.
Okay.
Which is covered with marinara sauce because it's spaghetti.
Okay.
Whole hard-boiled egg. No mention of this on the menu.
Was the spaghetti an entree or a side dish?
Spaghetti was an entree.
So you got spaghetti with just red sauce.
Yeah.
Not meat sauce.
One of us got meat sauce. One of us did not.
Both had... Wait, the meat sauce had it and the red sauce had it? The vegetarian red sauce?
I got it with marinara and sausages. And Darla, our drummer, got spaghetti with meat sauce.
And it came with a hard-boiled egg under the pasta.
Not completely under the pasta. It wasn't like a surprise, other than the fact that it was there at all.
It wasn't on the edge of the pasta, though. It was half blanketed by the pasta. The way you're describing it makes it sound like there was pasta on top of it.
Slightly on top of it.
Okay, that's hard to picture. Did anyone think to ask?
No.
Was it mentioned on the menu?
It was not mentioned on the menu.
Like double checked. Like you went back and said, was this mentioned on the menu?
We did not have to double check because we would have noticed if it had said accompanied by hard-boiled egg. There was no mention of a hard-boiled egg anywhere. It was not like, and of course featuring our signature hard-boiled egg.
Is it mentioned in the restaurant reviews? Like,
we did not look up any reviews.
The lack of curiosity is almost as...
We were curious amongst ourselves, of course.
Okay.
And I brought it up on stage the next night. Like, has anyone ever encountered this?
And then what happened?
One person said, I had a friend who used to cut up a hard-boiled egg and put it in her pasta. And I was like, I don't think that's the same thing.
It's like, I have a friend that dips their fries in mayonnaise instead of ketchup.
Yeah.
Like, that's not...
There's already egg in pasta.
Isn't... Yeah, like pasta is egg, right?
Yeah. Big ingredient. So we asked people in Ohio. None of them... People were like, no, I don't know what that is.
And when did you think they did that when the price of eggs were really high earlier this year and everything?
It's a great question. Maybe they were celebrating that maybe eggs in their area had come down.
Yeah.
And they're like, everybody gets an egg. But nobody had an egg in any of their other dishes.
You get an egg. You get it. It's like an
Nobody
Oprah.
else had an egg. It was just spaghetti.
But did anyone else order pasta?
Yeah. Yeah.
This feels...
There were 7 of us, and among the 7 of us, we ordered like a variety of Italian dishes.
Okay.
Only the people with spaghetti got the hard-boiled egg.
This is like bananas.
Yeah.
Like I've never...
No, it was very strange. And I'm half Italian, and I've never experienced this in my life. Never heard of it. Like, because we were very American Italian, so we didn't do, like, for holidays, we didn't do like the Feast of the 7 Fishes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we did have Italian food at home. Like, my mother made her own pasta once, like a few times a year. She would like get out the fucking machine and make her own pasta.
Cool. Love.
Still no hard-boiled.
Didn't pass it down to you. You didn't learn. Maybe you got to take measures.
I wonder.
To learn if you're a chef and a
Who has her pasta maker? One of my sisters has her pasta maker, I believe.
Oh, good. Someone should have it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that is a very strange.
Right?
Yeah.
I tell you what, if anyone is on our Substack and they have heard of this or encountered it,
get up in the comments
please,
below. Comments are open to everyone, guys. weekendwater.substack.com. That's where the conversation about this episode occurs, which is under the post of this episode at weekendwater.substack.com.
correct.
Okay.
We thought it was maybe an Ohio thing, but Ohio said no.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there are a lot of Italians in Ohio.
They're all over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like, there would be, like, authentic, like, oh, this is our...
Autentico, si.
Autentico, si.
Abundanza.
Abu Dhabi.
Then we went and saw Sinners, which was great.
Yes, I saw Sinners with my girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And it's a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Which Samantha, shout out to Samantha. It's Samantha's birthday this week.
She's not a horror movie fan.
No. She will see horror movies.
Wait, has her birthday? I wish her happy birthday. It did happen, right?
It was on Monday.
Okay. Then okay, good.
Yeah. Wait, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. Yeah. So basically it was like she'll watch a horror movie, but she kind of has to be like prepared for it. Like it has to the girls don't like the horror movies, my girlfriends, that are like slasher movies and
like
stuff.
gory kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. This I would
But
say
also like I don't like that either.
No, it's not my favorite. I'm not like into gore where it's like, wow, try to top the worst thing I've ever seen, which a lot of people enjoy. I can actually enjoy when there's kind of some humor to it, where they are being like, I think The Substance was a great example of something that
The
was
humor or in
they were having fun with it. They're like, this is insane. We know, yeah,
like maybe one of the funniest.
Yeah,
like the last 20 minutes of that movie, I was laughing. I was like
so funny,
gleeful.
Yeah,
it was gleeful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This I would say Sinners, for if you have not seen it and you're not a big horror person, I think this is a very manageable movie in terms of horror.
There's a lot of blood, but
in terms of being scary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost more like a thriller than a horror movie.
Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the sort of music angle of it. I don't want to give anything away. It's like
I don't want to give anything away, but I really enjoyed it. I didn't know much about it. I knew that there were vampires involved. That's all I knew. And everything else was a surprise. And I really appreciated how
the performances.
original it was.
I liked the performances.
Great performances.
Yeah.
Great performances. Really good themes. Like it was a very thoughtful movie for as fun as it was and artistic as it was. I should say as artistic as it was also very fun. As fun as it was also very thoughtful.
I found like parts of it to be kind of joyful.
100%.
Which is odd in a scary movie, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's not a comedy movie, Yeah. That's not like a comedy.
But highly recommended.
Yeah, it was really fun. We had fun. Like the girls had fun.
I'm glad.
We got dumplings after.
I'm sure you had fun seeing 2 Michael B. Jordans.
The twin technology in movies, I guess ever since Social Network, Social Network I'm like, it blows my mind.
Social Network was the first time where I was truly amazed because I did not know. It was my first time seeing Armie Hammer in anything. And I did not realize he was not
a twin.
The two guys.
Wait, I feel like I saw something else recently where there were twins. And it was like shockingly good.
Yeah, did we see it together? Is
yes.
it something we saw recently?
Something recently.
Yeah.
Where there's like twins.
Where they're interacting with each other, handing each other things, like that kind of shit. It's really...
Oh, wait, I did see... Oh, yeah, there was like... I hope I'm not spoiling. In Another Simple Favor, there was like some twin technology.
Is it a big reveal? Because that sounds like a spoiler.
Yeah, but it's been out, right?
Also, it's Another Simple Favor.
I mean, it was fine.
Look, guys, like, can we be frank here?
But also, I'm not saying who or what.
Anybody could be twins.
Yes. But I'm saying like there is like a real advancement with twin technology in movies.
100%.
Like I feel like they've put twins out of work.
This ain't Bewitched, where you had to do like over the shoulder shots.
Is this like AI is taking our jobs and then twin technology is taking twins' jobs?
How many jobs did the twins have to begin with? Who's worried? The Sklar brothers?
Well, remember Double Trouble? I used to watch that sitcom when I was younger.
I never
the
saw
Double Trouble twins.
And they were actual twins?
Yes.
Sister, of course.
Sister. Those are twins. And then who else?
The Olsen twins.
But they were not playing twins in that show.
Not in the show, but then eventually they did all those fucking movies.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. We should can we do a watch along to one of those movies? Because I've never seen one.
I can't do that. I will do anything for love.
What do you think he's saying in that song?
I honestly think it is something like but I wouldn't break up with you or some shit. I don't know. It's something like that.
What if it's, I won't give you my kidney?
That's interesting. That's interesting to write a song about that.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. That's the song. Sing the song. You started it. Finish the whole verse.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. Give you my kidney.
Yeah. That's what I think it
could be. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, so it's entirely possible. That's what it's about.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Meatloaf's coldest song?
Is that Meatloaf?
Cold. Yeah, it's Meatloaf.
Wait, I thought it was Michael Bolton the way you were singing it.
No. Are you dissing my Meatloaf impression? Michael Bolton has never sung that fast in his life. He's never sung a phrase of music that quickly. Meatloaf's coldest song is, I want you, I need you, but there ain't no way I'm ever going to love you. Don't feel bad. Don't feel sad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's cold.
Didn't Meatloaf come out as sort of someone who's problematic?
Yeah, he eventually became like a right wing.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah. Meatloaf a day.
Look, I know you're avoiding politics. I had to ask earlier. You're avoiding
I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. We've been down this road. I don't have to tell you.
It's bad, guys. So, and I'm not trying to turn it to that, but I have to point
What
out.
made you? Oh, because of Meatloaf becoming right wing. Or maybe he was always right wing. Who knows?
I know there's a lot going on in the world and politics, and we try to make this like not a place, at least for now.
We try to keep it light.
We're trying to, but what the fuck is the sitting president's deal with not understanding the word groceries?
Now, this is not a thing I've been aware of because
You won't.
I'm making a concerted effort to not hear his voice
Or anything.
for the rest of my life. Not anything. What do you mean anything? I want to be aware of what's going on.
You
I just
do
don't.
because I do the news and I put my earphones on so you don't have to hear anything.
I just don't want to hear his voice. I'm not trying to not understand what's going on.
His voice is untenable.
Yeah.
He doesn't make a lick of fucking sense.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he has a strange, authentic, unironic mystification over the word groceries. Now,
You were filling me in.
I am literally like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, describe what it is that he does, if people are not aware.
He says the word groceries with all of these caveats like, it's a word. They tell me it's a word. Groceries. It's an old-fashioned word, but it's a word that apparently people use. Groceries. Well, anyway, I'm responsible for making groceries not cost any money. A word that I've not really used much, but I've heard that it's a word. And I'm like, what? Like, it's not a foreign language. It's a word frequently used. Like, it's not, it's on TV and stuff.
Yeah. But it makes sense that a rich person
person has seen TV, though. You've heard it.
I mean,
you've heard it.
No, I
the
know.
The word grocery store is written on signs. Like, I see what you're saying. I know where you're going. Finish your thought. Sorry.
No, you shut me down.
I feel like because I've had time to think about that argument.
I'm saying
and I'm poking
I can see that I'm not trying to give him any credit here. I'm trying to explain it. That a rich person like him, who is so insulated, and of course being the person that he is, I could see him in his weird logic, like, oh, do people still use the word groceries? Because he thinks it's a word he heard when he was a kid. And then because he's never really experienced it, because how much is he paying attention to the world? You know what I mean? That doesn't concern him.
I have
What, do you think he's watching like Family Matters?
The person in charge of listening to the listening devices on the $400 million plane that Qatar is bribing him with, Godspeed. Because that will have to be the most mind-numbing, boring, and inane job given to a surveiller.
It would be a real drag.
Like, literally, I would be like, I'd rather be unemployed. Someone else has to listen to this.
Maybe for them, maybe they give that task to somebody who wants to practice their English.
And they're like, groceries, that might be a word I should look into. Groceries.
Like somebody who speaks pretty good English, but they're like, you know what? Duolingo's going all AI.
Duolingo's AI hallucinates less than the things that come out of that man's mouth. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I should hope so. I'm trying to learn Italian.
God. Hope Meatloaf is happy if he's still alive.
He's no longer with us.
Oh, what happened to him?
I almost think it was COVID, but maybe not. It might have been around that time, but a heart attack or something. Should I look it up? I'm gonna look it up.
I guess.
Well, I feel like because podcasts, we have the power to look it up, and
that's true.
So the listeners won't have to be driven crazy.
Well, they're probably yelling the answer at their speakers right now. They're probably like,
if
it was a
they
heart
know,
attack.
if
it was
they
COVID.
Know. But I'm pretty sure.
Like, duh, it was like 2021.
Well, I hope they're not being that way.
I mean, sometimes I am.
Hey, if you're a meatloaf expert, sorry.
Sometimes there's a couple podcasts I listen to where where I'm like, oh no, they don't know what this is because they're too young.
I mean, that's podcast, baby. That's just
they're too young to know. It's weird getting old enough to know people who are like full on functioning adults.
Yeah.
That don't know similar touchstones because they had a completely different childhood.
Meatloaf died at the age of 74 in 2022.
Okay.
January 20th, 2022.
Okay.
He had been ill with COVID.
Oof.
But they did not release an official cause of death.
Oh, they did that with so many COVID deaths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were trying to be like, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? A lot of people died.
Yeah.
Like, it was constant, like, on the news, like, so-and-so died, so-and-so died.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, people you know who've lost family members. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it was COVID, I bet.
Yeah.
Complications from COVID.
It had to be.
I mean, 74, 2022, you know.
Meanwhile, British actor Stephen Fry also remembered the legend, whom he performed with on an episode of Saturday Night Live in the mid-'80s. I hope paradise is as you remember it from the dashboard light, Meatloaf. Had a fun time performing a sketch with him on Saturday Live way back in the last century. He had the quality of being simultaneously frightening and cuddly, which is rare and rather wonderful.
That's a posh little accent. Is that how Stephen Fry talks?
As close as I can get to it, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Hey, thank you. So
yeah, you were traveling.
I was traveling a lot. It was a lot of fun. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out to the shows.
I mean,
we had great crowds.
You guys had fun doing those shows for everyone. Like, all I heard from you was how, like, great the shows were.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And you have more to do.
Yes, we do have more to do coming up. And yeah, I am so grateful for live performance and to have that in my life and to be able to be creative in that way is really, it's really feeding my soul right now.
I mean, I interacted with someone just 2 days ago, and I was telling them about your variety show, which you're doing here in LA in
May 25th.
May 25th.
Streaming live to the world.
Oh, yeah, streaming live. We should include that ticket link in the post.
100%.
And they were like, I heard a rumor Paul's going back to stand-up. Is that true? And I'm like, yeah, he's like doing it on his variety show and stuff. I didn't know how to answer that because I guess like, you technically are.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
yeah,
you're trying to string together.
I do a monologue
hour?
at every show, and I'm writing material for all the for new material for all the lodge room shows, and then on the road I'm doing the same set every night, which is really fun to be able to, work on material and refine it, and it's I've really been enjoying that process.
I kind of feel for younger comedians right now, and there's some I really like online, and I follow them. Like I see their like stand up online, and I'll see like clips and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it must feel like for younger comedians coming up in this digital age, which is not what you're having to deal with as much.
Right.
They put their material online, which is great, and you get to enjoy it like for free or whatever. But like, how do they then like put together an act if they're like dosing it out online all the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's most of what I see is people doing crowd work. I see that much more than people doing actual material. But I think that probably when you're seeing people putting material on there, it's because it's material they've already done in an hour set. I could be wrong. That they're working on their new hour, and so what you're seeing is older stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, oh, I'll be following them and they're funny clips, and I'm like, oh, I really love that comedian or whatever. And then they're like, and I'm doing all these live dates, and I'm like, oh, well, why would I mean, I want to support them.
I mean, is it that many clips that you feel like I've seen all of this person's material?
Maybe not. Maybe it's not that.
Yeah. It also depends on what kind of material you do, because if you do like shorter jokey things, that's like a Dimitri Martin kind of thing where it's like one-liners and stuff.
Yeah.
That is in a space of like 3 minutes, you might be doing a ton of jokes.
Yeah.
As opposed to there might be one bit that's 3 minutes long.
Yeah, like I follow this kid and his bits are like 3 minutes. It'll be like one bit that's 3 minutes long.
Right.
But it's topical, so
Right,
maybe
right.
maybe that's better that he puts that out online.
Yeah.
Because like you can't do a topical.
Oh, there's also that. I mean, yeah, if it's stuff that's got a shelf life on it, it also might be like the stuff that they're doing is like, yeah, this was stuff that I wrote that I knew I could only do for about a week or whatever.
Right.
And so why not put it online to give you an idea of who
My
I
style.
am, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. Like stand up, like
It's tricky.
It's tricky. Because I do feel like stand up is about to have a resurgence.
Man, I hope so, because stand up has been in such a terrible place.
It's been in such a bad place.
Oh.
But I feel like there's a whole new generation coming up that have stuff to say.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do the other like genres or whatever.
Yeah.
I really do feel like, and maybe it's just my algorithm or whatever, but I've always liked stand up. So for me, like, I hope that art form, I think it's more important now than ever in a weird way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Like having someone directly talking to you about like different points of view is like different ways of thinking about things has got to be like, that's the next thing we need more than anything.
Yeah, but also somebody who is giving you a window into a shared human experience.
Yes. I'm definitely think stand up is about to have a big resurgence.
That kind of thing. That's the thing that you can't put a price on, and you just can't you know,
But
that's never going to be replaced by artificial
But
intelligence.
in this moment when AI is making us feel like nothing is real,
Yeah.
or like we're like in a simulation, if you will, or whatever the hell, like I know that other people are feeling this. Like I can sense, like I have conversations with people where it's like, what are we living in right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what is this time? It's never been like this before in my memory.
Yes, in our lifetimes, yes.
In our lifetimes of where we live and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there is a genuine like imbalance
Mm-hmm.
that is, I don't know, like it's causing people, it's breaking my brain sometimes.
No, we are living in a golden age of willful ignorance. We've never had so much easy access to information.
Yes.
And still people are like, I don't like that information.
But now the information is like untrustworthy.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that
Yeah.
there is the actual information out there of what's happening. And then people can say, well, I don't like that, so I'm going to go get it over here where it sounds more like what I want it to sound like.
But if you're a younger person and you don't have some kind of benchmark of trustworthy voices in your head and in your world, then how will you know what to do?
I think that,
what to think?
yeah, I think that younger people arrive at it the same way. They will make their decisions the same way we make our decisions. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I hope so because
if there's all this competing ideas of reality, they'll have to choose one, you know?
that's true.
They'll have to make their own choice just like we all do.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is based on the evidence of your senses. The thing that drives me crazy right now
Yeah.
is, you know, the whole, like when Biden was clearly having troubles, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of reporting on it. There was a lot of talk about it. It
Yeah.
became the news cycle. It forced him to step down and not run for a second term
Yeah.
because it was out there and people were talking about it.
It was leaked or it was acknowledged.
All the shit that is going on right now with this fucking guy. And they're still like, this seems like it might be corrupt. It's like, of course it is. This guy talks, he doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But they're like, well, we know when he said this, he was joking. And when he said this, he wasn't serious, all that. What are you fucking talking about?
Well,
it's all bullshit.
I know. But he's always been who he's been.
Yeah. But he's getting worse though.
Yes, he is
getting worse.
He is.
That's undeniable. But that's not reported on at all.
Well, it is in some alternative spaces.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not the New York Times. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
The stories that dominate the news cycle are reported by those
old
traditional sources.
Yes.
And that's what everybody talks about. Because by and large, your average person
isn't watching YouTube channels like I am.
If they're even paying attention to the news.
No, but your average person is watching that because those channels that I watch for like the real synthesis of the day's events or the like logical and sensical ones are like, they have more subscribers than the New York Times. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's starting to like become, you know, a viable way of synthesizing the information.
I fucking hope so.
The problem is, I think, is that it's kind of too late. Like we have to wait for another election to see if a real election can be had. Yeah. You know?
I really do feel like, well, I'm not going to say this on a microphone. I'll tell you off mic.
That something's going to happen.
No. Well, don't try to get it out of me. What I said, I don't want to say it on
I mean, I was going to try to get out of you, but not the details, but like what I think, you know.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that in the privacy of our own home.
I do think there is no privacy. They're listening through our phones, probably.
Well, let them work for it then.
Also, they don't care about us. Do they think, oh no, stay at HOMEKINS? Like, you know, like the guy that you're avoiding, the sitting president, rage tweeted today about Bruce Springsteen and
Oh yeah, what did he say about Springsteen?
just that he was like an untalented, horrifying hack, and that he should watch what he says while he's out of the country and still has to get back into the country.
Wow.
So now he's threatening him with like being detained at the border.
Yeah.
And then he said shit about Taylor Swift a few times. He's always after Taylor Swift.
He's still bothered by Taylor Swift.
I mean, if he were to tweet about Stay of Homekins tomorrow,
I mean,
that would be shocking.
Would really put us on the map.
It would put us in a terrible map that we wouldn't want to be on, but I would be stunned. I would be stunned because it would be.
Yeah.
Although, no, he does sometimes. I'm not saying I want him to pick Stay of Homekins. Like, please stay away from Stay of Homekins if you're him. Please. But what I'm saying is there are occasional times where some like kind of under the radar person will be brought to his attention through his MAGA followers. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, he's like tweeting about some random person that's getting doxxed on the internet. Yeah. So it is kind of a crazy thing to think about.
This guy
but now they're after Comey, which is funny to me because I'm like, still, like, who even is thinking about Comey? Funny. It was like 10 years ago.
This guy, Donald Trump, to me is, as Nico said, a clown.
What's a clown?
A clown.
It did.
Such a clown, because everybody knows she's a femme fatale. It thinks you does to me. Velvet Underground? Come on.
Is that the...
He'll build you up to bring you down. Such a clown.
I guess I'm not
everybody
familiar.
Knows. He's a clown. He's a straight up clown.
He's a clown?
He's a clown.
How do you spell it?
CLOWN.
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 He's a clown.
Clown.
Get out of here, you clown.
Clown. We
got to wrap it up.
He's a sad clown. He's a sad clown.
Could be sadder if you ask me. We kind of did promotions of things within the show, of things we are enjoying.
I have a recommendation.
Please bring it, girlfriend.
Okay, this is a weird one because I'm actually recommending something on a streamer I don't have. It's on Stars. Stars with a Z. Mm-hmm. I don't have that one. But I was able to have it through a code. Okay. I had a code. And so intriguing. I was like, let me check out this show. So there's this mini series, 3 Women, which is based on a nonfiction book called 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. I didn't read the book. I remember when the book came out because I think I heard, I don't know, like interview with Terry Gross or something. I don't know what I was kind of aware of one of the 3 women. Like I'd read maybe an excerpt in Vanity Fair. I can't remember. Like when it came out. It was like a best-selling book, a nonfiction book about 3 women. That this woman, Lisa Taddeo, she's like kind of like, I guess, like a feminist Studs Terkel or something. Like she got in her car and went all over America to find the experience of being a woman and like exploring women's desires and it's kind of like
go on.
Yeah, like she found like 3 very different women to write about as a window into like the female experience or the feminine mystique, if you will. And so they made this mini series. I'd never heard of it. Apparently found out after the fact it was in like development hell. Like it took like 3 years or something for it to they filmed the whole thing and then it didn't come out. They filmed the whole thing in another place and then Stars got it and then 2 years later it came out. Something crazy like that. Right. I was so like into binging this mini series. It was like the acting was so good. I really enjoyed the directing. It was all female directors. It stars Betty Gilpin and Shailene Woodley. You know I love me some Shailene Woodley.
I know you do.
I mean, I just love her.
Who was the third woman?
There's 4 women. Because
twist. Is that a spoiler?
no.
Did she show up like in the third act?
There's 2.
Well. Looks like you forgot about me.
Anyway, I really recommend it if you don't have stars, I guess, and you ride the rails. Cancel another streamer to get stars and binge it, and then then cancel that one and reinstate your other one.
Are people calling that riding the rails?
That's what I've thought it was called.
I've not heard that before. But you heard it from somewhere else, or did you make it up?
I think I heard it on EPM.
I like it.
Election Profit Makers Podcast. Friend of the pod. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Pod friend of the pod.
Pod friend of the pod. Did I hear it there? Or did I hear it somewhere else? I've always called it that.
Whereas like you jump on and off of different streamers.
Correct.
Yeah, I like it.
Correct. Anyway, what about you? Any recommendations? Recommendos? Got any recommendos?
Yeah, man, I want to recommend Black Bag, which is streaming now on Peacock.
Oh my God. We were like going to watch that movie.
Yeah.
As soon as you press play.
That's right.
I fell asleep.
You were out like a light.
Why can't I stay awake?
I don't know.
Anymore.
I don't know what it is. Something about the TV in a certain hour and you're gone.
But I binged all of 3 Women while you were out of town.
No, I guess it's me. Because you feel safe. You feel safe when I'm here.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
That's nice.
You have to keep vigilant when I'm not here.
Well, I don't know.
But Black Bag is a
Soderbergh, right?
Soderbergh directed like espionage kind of thriller. To me, this was like one of those movies where it was exactly what I thought it was going to be and exactly what I wanted it to be. Like the tone of it.
Yeah.
Everything about it was like, bang, this is what I needed right now. Yeah. This is what I wanted and you gave it to me.
Like a cinema.
A grown-up, fun
espionage
spy movie. Yes.
You got Cate Blanchett.
You got Fassbender. Others.
Really, all you need to know is Cate Blanchett.
I think a Bridgerton guy was in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
All right, guys. This was our May episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our free pod.
Thank you so much.
The free pod. We'll have another one out in June, of course.
Yeah. And if you want to
depending on your schedule. I don't know. Are you out of town when we're supposed to record? There might be a little off.
I should be back for our regular schedule, but we'll look at it. We'll look at the calendar and make sure.
We have a watch along coming out soon. Hopefully we can
Just say what it is.
No.
Why?
It's more fun. Wait, really?
Yeah, because I feel like the clock is ticking on this one.
I think it's fun when it drops, but whatever. Go ahead and tell people. You already said the kids can open one present before Christmas morning.
That's right. We watched Conclave, everybody, and we did a watch along to it. And guess what? It's my second time seeing this movie. I really enjoyed it again.
It's a good movie.
Conclave, good for you. Thanks for bringing the good.
And then hopefully we can do, I'm looking at Flatliners as our next one.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Flatliners.
So while you were gone, because you know how we do our bonus episodes where we will react to Southern Charm or Vanderpump, the Pump and Dump. We've also done that same reaction pod run to And Just Like That on HBO Max.
That's right.
Which is coming out again. The 3rd season is coming out soon, right?
Very soon.
But they did like an overhaul on the cast. I don't know if we're gonna have as much fun with these watch.
I know Che Diaz is gone.
Yeah, and they teased that Samantha cameo and it was so like belabored, and she was like they may as well just like hologrammed her on the.
She may have shot it at home on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
They created a background.
Yeah, and so we have that. But because you refuse to watch Bravo's The Valley.
Yes, can't do it.
You refuse. You won't do it.
Can't do it.
I've been watching it, and my friend Aaron Ginsberg, of course.
The man who married us.
The man who married, and you married him.
And I married him and his wife, yes.
Which is kind of funny because he was my friend, and I got stuck as bridesmaid instead of an officiant, but whatever. we live in a sexist society.
We sure do. You would have done a good job too.
I mean, come on.
You've done a good job.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
They wanted a man of the cloth.
I honestly think
they
you would
wanted
have done a better job than I did.
No way.
Yes.
You killed at that wedding.
I did. I had one good joke.
You did get it. You started it strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to be too jokey when I do these things.
Yeah.
It's not a time for me to get fucking laughs.
But people like it because there's the bride and groom have nerves, you know.
Have a little humor in there.
People have the nerves.
But you don't make it like a clown show. A clown. I'm not going to be a clown up there.
Clown.
Yeah.
All right, so Aaron and I have started recording our reaction pod. It's not in the main feed because I didn't want to soil the Stay at HOMEKINS feed.
Thank you.
We don't even have our own RSS feed. We just it's posted on the Substack.
Mm-hmm.
It's at weekendwater.substack.com. We've posted 2 podcast episodes. I think there's 4 or 5 episodes into the valley where we started a little. Now he was traveling, so when he gets back, we're going to do another one.
Everybody's traveling all the time.
Everyone's traveling now, and you know what? Air travel has gotten worse and worse. Don't get me started on that.
Everything has.
Inshedification.
Well, thanks everybody.
So anyway, I'd like to recommend my own episodes on the Valley with Aaron Ginsberg, if that's okay.
There you go. Which of course have my blessing. I'm not against it.
He just doesn't want to watch the Valley. In fact,
I just don't want to. But listen, go to Weekend Water. But listen, go to weekendwater.substack.com and you can get all the details. And hope to see you out on the road as I go to Fairfield, Connecticut, Westerly, Rhode Island, Homer, New York. Never been there. Only recently heard of it. Albany, New York. Portland, Oregon. Seattle, Washington. Vancouver, British Columbia. And guess what? Some other dates to be named even later.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, until then,
stay safe, stay sane, and stay strong.